something my mom taught me a long time ago, and you should know that my mom is 93 years old, 94 in November, and you can't live that long and not learn a few things. Something she said that's really stuck with me is this idea that the more things you own, the more those things own you. And I find that really true. I've been really trying to get rid of stuff. You drive down the street and you see all these storage buildings, and you think about people have so much stuff they can't even keep it in their home. And the reason is we've been fooled and we've been conned to think that we need to own these things, that you better buy it today, otherwise you're not going to be able to get it tomorrow. And owning this is the secret to happiness. What do you have in your life that you could get rid of?
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So we're going to be checking out some videos that I think are going to be very helpful for people. Times are very hard right now, and a lot of people need help when it comes to, a little bit of like advice, some tips on how to spend money or buy stuff, ways to deal and navigate this whole recession that we are actually in. While some people actually feel like we are heading to a recession, we're already in a recession and depression because nobody's smiling out here. We're not happy. A lot of us are sad and depressed. We're going to be checking out these videos, people giving tips, like very helpful advice on how to make your money stretch, just things to help you make better decisions when you go out to shop, what you should buy and what you shouldn't buy. So this advice are helpful, so let's check these videos out together. But before we get right into this video, please make sure you click the like button. It helps the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
Some of y'all are gonna have to learn how to start feeding y'all's family on a budget. Hispanics know how to feed their family for less than $5 for dinner. Let me show you how, because y'all are going to be needing it. First of all, every meal has rice and beans. These are so cheap. A pot of beans, I calculated, only cost me like 50 cents, maybe $1 to make, and it makes a huge pot of beans, and we would have leftovers for later to refry them, make tacos with them, whatever. Mainly beans though. These are the star of the show in a Hispanic household. A Hispanic mom will make a pot of beans at the beginning of the week. The first day she makes the beans, we will have basically bean soup and just eat the beans with the broth. Some lime, some salt. If you have onion, add onion, tomatoes, serrano, queso fresco, whatever. You can add it, you can eat it just like that. That's how we would have dinner the first night. The next night, my mom would refry the same beans and make some fried tacos. Just beans and a corn tortilla and some oil. Fry them, that's dinner. Beans and sopita. That's dinner. That's less than $3 to feed a family of 4. If you don't know how to make these are only 50 cents a pack, and right now at Walmart they're on sale for 44 cents a pack. And I've posted 2 videos recently on how you can cook these. This isn't really Hispanic, but oatmeal, and I do make like a Mexican style oatmeal, so that's why I categorized it here. Oatmeal, super cheap. I also have a recipe on how we cook it. So easy, so yummy. I make a big pot to last us for 2 days.
Gen Z, lesson 2. Preparing for this looming recession that we're about to go into, because we are. The most important thing I want you to take away from this message is always prepare for a recession, whether we're going to go into one, whether we're in one, whether we're not in one. It doesn't matter. Always prepare for a recession. Okay? All right? So in order to prepare, you have to have a plan. In order to have a plan, you got to have that budget. Okay? Because I want you to make sure that every single dollar that you're working your butt off for, because Gen Z, y'all are incredibly hardworking. Y'all want to do better than your parents. I know. I see you. Incredibly impressed by y'all. All right? But we got to prioritize your money. Okay? We got to make sure you're spending it wisely. Okay? So let's prioritize. The first one's housing. Okay? You got to have a roof over your head, a place to sleep, a place to rest so you can go to work, right? Okay, first thing. And it's okay to have roommates in your 20s. You can't do this by yourself. You cannot do this by yourself. You need your community. So housing with roommates. Okay, first thing. Second thing, utilities. You got to have your water, your electricity. You got to keep that fridge going, your body clean so you can go to work smelling fresh, right? That's important. That helps with your confidence. You got to have your utilities. And the next thing is food. Okay, food is the third priority. All right, you got to keep going. You got to keep having those bellies filled. Okay, very important. It's more important than the next priority, which is your car. Okay, because if you don't have the money for a car, you can always Uber to work, right? Or maybe you live with your people that you work with. You can carpool to work. Okay, Okay, but that next priority is your car for like gas and the insurance. Now with insurance, what you can do is get a group policy with your roommates, okay, and save that money on that multi-car discount, maybe splitting that, that bill up, okay, so it's not so heavy on you. Because insurance in your 20s is really expensive, let's get real, even for the ladies, okay? Okay, so you have your budget, your utilities, food, your car, and the next thing, and this should be the number one, but let's get real, is you. You need to budget at least once or twice a month to do something that fills your happy tank. Okay? I'm being for real. That means you need to prioritize you. Stop spending that money on those TikTok live gifts. I was not going to hold your hand for that. No, I'm going to put that right out there. Stop it. Okay? Stop spending money on that Starbucks. You can make that stuff at home. Okay? When it's significantly cheaper. Okay? All that money after you, which is the most important thing, because all those things can't happen without you, right? You got to keep you happy. The rest of that money, I want you to put it to the side. Put it underneath your mattress. Your great-grandparents did. They saved that money. Okay? They put that money, they hid it somewhere. Hide it. Put it, don't, and I wouldn't even put it in your bank. I would just keep that cash and put it somewhere safe. Okay? Because if it's a bank account, you can use your debit card. Stop that. Okay? If you have your cash, you can see it. You can physically see it. Okay? You're less likely to spend it if you can see that it's dwindling away, right? Stop using your debit cards. Okay? Use cash for everything if you can. All right? Now, like I said, I can teach y'all on how to save money on food because y'all need to stop buying the ramen noodles. I know. And go follow Chef Anna. She does a really good job on teaching y'all how to make food from scratch. Healthy food from scratch that tastes good and fills your bellies up for long periods of time. Because if you have better nutrients, your body is not as hungry as often. Did y'all know that? If you have the right nutrients, spend your money in the right way on food. So that's my approach to the recession. Always prepare. And if you live like this, like I was saying, be very mindful about where you spend your money. Okay? Maybe share with your roommates. Okay? That's how you can prepare for it. Budget your money. Your money is very important. You work really hard for it. Respect that money. And take care of yourself. Let me all know if y'all want some more stuff. Love you guys.
Okay, let me start by saying this is not a political post. This is a post about how we as Americans overspend, and specifically on groceries. So obviously there's a lot of talk about food stamps and what that's going to look like for the country. And I do know that there are a lot of people that does affect, and I'm thinking about those people. I have a lot of my own thoughts. They're all over the place about everything in our world right now, but that's neither here nor there. This is about overspending, and I'm a prime example of being a person who overspent. So I used to spend $1,800 a month on groceries for a family of 3, and we would still go out to eat 2 to 3 times a week. And at the end of every week, I would throw away food because we had no plan. When we bought our new house, one of the things that we had to do was come up with a way to save money. So I cut our grocery costs from $1,800 a month to around $600 to $700 a month for a family of 3 who eats at home breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. We don't go out to eat anymore unless we're going out for a very special occasion, and if we do, I alter our week for that. But the way that I've been able to do that is by having a plan. So if you're someone who has very little money to spend on groceries, if you want to maximize it, you have to prepare before you do your grocery shopping. First things first, if you can do delivery or pickup is free. If you can do pickup, do that, because when you go into the store, it triggers something in your frontal lobe that makes you want to buy things that you do not need. That's the whole point of grocery stores and why they exist, is so that people will overspend. Don't do it. Don't go into the store. You're going to do all your shopping on your phone. Okay? That's the first thing. Knowing that, you got to have a plan. You have to sit down and write down a menu for the week. And I'm talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have to be very detailed. And yes, it is work, but if you want to cut costs and save money, you have to put in the work. Preparation is the key to success, period. So you write out your menu, breakfast, lunch, dinner, then boom, you write out your grocery list from there, which I don't write it out anymore, my grocery list, because I just do it on the app. But After you have your list, you're gonna go through and put everything on your list, and you're only gonna buy what you need for your menu items, period. No more, no less. That is it. No splurging. If you do have something that you want to make as a sweet treat, you need to budget that in as one of your meals, period. That's how you do it. And then what you do is you place your order, you go and you pick it up, you come home and you prepare it. You don't have to cook it all, but what I'm saying is you prepare it. In my cabinet, I have all the dry goods for this week's meals in one shelf. Then I have another shelf is I have all of the snacks for the week, and it's exactly what we need. I know exactly how much she's going to pretty much want when she comes home from school. And yes, we do have a couple of little extra snacks, but those are in the budget. And then when it comes to the fridge, I have a snack drawer of our fruits, cheeses, all that sort of stuff. And then I also have all of our meats for the week, our veggies for the week. And it's all set out in the drawers per day, and I just grab it and I'm ready to go. The only way that I'm able to do that is because I put the work in. And yes, it takes me like an hour on Saturdays to figure it all out, and then it takes me an hour on Sundays to prepare and make sure that we're ready for the week. But the work is worth the savings. And so if you are in a pickle and you are looking to save money or whatever, I can tell you that preparation is the key to success. I've shared some videos on this, on how I do snacks and all those sorts of things. You can go back and look at my older videos, and maybe I'll come back to doing those again because they did get a lot of positive feedback. But preparation is the key to success. You do not have to overspend at the grocery store. I promise you, you can save money and you can survive whatever it is that you're going through. You just have to prepare and put in a little extra work.
So another advice that I actually feel like adding is, this is something that I noticed that has worked for me, for people who actually have, it depends on you though, your kind of, personality. I feel like a lot of us women, when we go to shop for something or we just want to buy something in the store, we literally have the tendency to see other things and it will grab our attention, our eyes, and before you know it, we'll buy something, things that we really did not have the intention of buying at all. After you get home, you realize this is something that I could have gone without. But if you're also somebody like me who get overstimulated, like sometimes searching for things, like going to the store, be confused, like, damn, where is this? Where is that? Like, I feel like sometimes just ordering these things online and just doing a pickup, just drive up to the store and then just have someone put in your car is more easier, to be honest. Like, because you are strictly just going to be searching for, what you want to buy. Like, to be like, this is the list of the items I want to buy, and you just put it there and you leave. And well, I do know that there's some people who literally, like, if they have it set up, if they have it set in their mind, this is what I want to buy, they just go straight in, grab what they need and go. But for some people who actually, get tempted with things, then yeah, I feel like that might work for you and help you.
Did you know that pancake batter can be used to not only make pancakes, but waffles and crepes? The only difference from what I understand when it comes to making pancakes and waffles, which use the same recipe for making crepes, is that the water to flour or milk to flour ratio is different. So you don't have to go to the store and buy pancake batter and then buy waffle mix and then buy crepe mix and whatever else. You really can only use, all you have to do, truthfully, is to use the ingredients you already have in your kitchen. And I know the average person in America got flour, right? Some people like to fry their food, so they got flour. They already got sugar because they like to put it in their tea and their coffee. You got milk, right? For cereal and all of that. You got, what I already mentioned, sugar. You got probably baking soda. And you might have to buy baking powder. And I think I named everything. Oh, by the way, you got salt. So you got everything you need. You just have to put it all together. And I'm going to give you the recipe right.
Go shopping at the food pantry. So today we had milk and butter and eggs, as we always do, and this is me just checking the eggs to make sure none of them are broken. They had these butter pickles, but I already have plenty of those. And check this out, there was like no chicken in this Chinese chicken TV tray. There was some salads to pick through. I ended up doing like a broccoli slaw salad. This food pantry is great how it's set up. It's almost like a grocery store, so you have a lot of options and you can kind of pick what you think your family's going to eat most. So this is like a giant bag of breakfast sandwiches from, I'm pretty sure, Quick Trip. And then there was some sausage and cheese snacks, and then there was this door that is usually filled full of random stuff, but today there was hardly anything. But there was some herring, so my husband will be happy with that. We got the usual juice, and there were some options between some different. And down this line of freezer, I ended up not taking quite a few of the things that were available. Most of the things are one per option, but I got 2 of the pizzas, and then I skipped some of the miscellaneous meats and frozen breads. And then there was some frozen peas and some like thick cut bacon and like miniature pizzas. This says wild game on it. I'm pretty sure it was ground turkey, but I forgot to record the actual picture of it, so I'm going off of my memory, which isn't the best. There was like a large pack of chicken thighs and then ground hamburger like there always is. Down this row I didn't record everything, but there was some like mandarin oranges and some other miscellaneous canned goods. This was a super cool find. This is the chickpea pasta, so it's gluten-free. I'm not gluten-free, but I know quite a few people who are, so when I have people over I have options. The produce is always kind of a wild ride when I'm at the food pantry. Because I was working there all day, I was able to kind of like pick through the produce as it was being placed out, so I didn't record all the produce I got. Like I ended up getting some more carrots and some tangerines. Ooh, I don't know what that effect was right there. And then the zucchini and asparagus was all you want because they're in season right now, so everyone and their mama is growing zucchini and asparagus and cucumbers in the state of Wisconsin. So we get a lot of that donated in, which means we give a lot of it out. I went straight for these leeks. I was so excited to see leeks. You don't see them every time, and we had quite a few really good ones today. Through these sandwiches, I just pick out breakfast sandwiches every time because they freeze really well, and so I can just throw them in the microwave for a quick and easy morning. And then those were some granola bars and some random chips. The canned soups were 2 each. I got like a keto cauliflower soup and a cream of mushroom, and then I grabbed some canned peas from the canned vegetables. There's canned corn, and this Annie's macaroni and cheese was great. My kids love that stuff. This miscellaneous shelf, again, is usually like stocked full, and today it was kind of bare. And then there was no cookies and no pies and no cakes. I was really bummed out about that. But of course, because I was working there, I was able to kind of pick through the cookies and sweets as they were getting donated. So that's pretty much the end of the haul. We're going to quick take a weight, and it was 78 pounds this time.
All right, for anybody losing their government assistance over the next couple months, we're going to have a crash course on food storage. So food storage both does and does not work how you see it on TV, okay? I'm going to show you what we have stored that has lasted for a long time and what I do to store things that you normally wouldn't think to store, like vegetables and stuff that usually goes bad very quickly. So really quick, I've got a dried section here, I've got my pastas and everything, and then I've got my baking. So lentils. Stock up on lentils where you can. Green lentils, red lentils, not created equal. Green lentils will need to be soaked overnight. Red lentils can be soaked for like an hour. This is great to put in rice. Red lentils are great to put in pasta sauce. Blend it with your pasta sauce and it will add fiber and volume. Chickpeas can be made into hummus, can be added into other things. Kidney beans, really good with anything super saucy or wet. Shortening. Not just good for baking, you can use it for a lot of stuff. Again, frying, cooking, super cheap, like $3 for this, I think, and this will last you for a long time. Brown sugars, powdered sugars if you want to be fancy and bake. Flour, I do not agree with some people saying stock up on flour. Flour, unless you have a freezer to put it in, will only last you a couple months before it goes rancid or before you start getting bugs in it. I do not recommend stocking up on flour. Flour is relatively cheap for the volume that you get if you get just the basic white enriched flour. I would recommend you just buy it as you can. Oil for frying, that is canola oil from Costco. That whole thing was $30, and that is 4 pounds, or sorry, 40 pounds. This is like 5 gallons of oil. This will last you for a year. Canned goods, I would not put all of your SNAP benefits into canned vegetables and stuff because they're not going to hold you very long. Beans are going to be your biggest thing. Pinto beans, black beans, red beans, those are going to be your big helpers. Then you can get the other stuff like your green beans, your peas, your corn. So we have 2 deep freezers. If you don't have a deep freezer and all you have is your kitchen freezer, that's just fine. But I'm going to show you this mess. Don't mind this. This is what I wanted to show you. Bread, milk. They freeze really well and they will last you for a very long time. Get as much milk and as much bread as you can, and then you're going to freeze it and stash it. Milk, the more fat there is, the better, so whole milk would be best, and then go down as needed. Last, Vegetables. Fruit does not really freeze well because all of the moisture in it, when you unfreeze it, is going to come out and it's going to make a mess. So unless you're wanting to make something like jams or jellies with it, don't do it. Vegetables freeze phenomenally well. Buy as many as you physically can. Bell peppers, potato, like we did here, any form of like broccoli, anything that is not wet. Zucchini and squash will not do well. Again, if you're okay with it being mushy when it comes out, that's fine. Butternut squash is going to be the same deal. But anything that does not have very much water in it is going to freeze really well, and it will unfreeze just fine, and you'll never really notice the difference. I lied, not last thing. This is the last thing. A vacuum sealer. These bags are what you put food in, and then you cut it to length with your vacuum sealer, and it's going to vacuum seal it, so it'll pull all the air out, and then it will seal it via heat so you can't get any air in it. So unlike vacuum or like bags, regular like Ziploc bags, vacuum sealer bags will actually save stuff. Now that's a little bit fancier. If we need to, dollar store gallon bags will do just fine. Just make sure when you do it to roll it up really tight, get all that air out before you seal it, and it will be just fine. So for anybody losing their benefits, I'm really sorry that it's happening. I will try to do my best to help with this. I grew up around a lot of people that were on government benefits. Both of my parents were on government benefits growing up. My husband grew up on it. I think I'm the only one I know that hasn't. So I'm going to do my best to show food storage, food safety, how to cook on a budget, stuff like that if we want it. I can also show in detail how to prepare food, whether that be meat or vegetables for freezing and storage. But yeah, I'm sorry this is happening. We will get through this, I promise. And if you have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to help.
If you have a large family, having a deep freezer is a necessity. You buy stuff in bulk. It saves you on going to the store like back to back to back and buying just little bits of things. And just put them in there if you need to put some of your frozen food like some meat and stuff. So something to keep in mind is all this advice about buying in bulk. Make sure when you're buying in bulk, you actually have places to keep those things that you're buying in bulk, because you can go and buy a lifetime supply of things and then end up not having any space to keep it, or you end up having stuff just go bad. You have to make sure you have space for that before you do it.
No food stamps, no problem. Come on, let's go in Kroger. Let me show you how you can get you about 4 packs of meat for $20 to last you for the week. Come on. Right here, you got some $5 packs of chicken breast. Also, they got $10 packs of chicken wings. They got $5 packs of chicken drums. Here is a $10 pack of pork chops. Get you some Jiffy Mix. It's 69 cents here. You may can find it a little cheaper at another place. And here is some more $10 packs of pork chops. They normally have those packs of pork chops for just $5, the boneless pork chops. But either way, let me show you what else you can grab to go with it. Come on. Here is some corn for 89 cents. They got the potatoes for $1.50 a piece. And baby, you can even grab your pack of gravy meats and make you a gravy if you don't know how to make it from scratch. You can grab those egg noodles. They're only $1.79. And when my food stamps got cut off last year for about 3 months, that's literally how I shop. Like I say, at the time I didn't have a baby. I only had 6 kids. Now I have 7 kids. But baby, best believe I'm gonna scratch the dollar. And my kids were fed and full.
Hi, I don't know what you've been doing. If you've been collecting supplies, water, extra container of Band-Aids, Neosporin, or you have upped it to maybe even getting a backup power generator. But if I were you, I would get into high gear. Things are not good right now. They're going to get worse. And you need to have something to fall back on. If you listen to no other videos that I've made, listen to this one.
Since the government has decided that it is going to not only shut down, but stay shut down until gosh knows when, what I'm going to do is show y'all how to cook food from scratch. Okay, I went through this during the Great Recession, in which I didn't know how to cook anything, and I was eating a can of green beans a day because my culinary skills were absolute garbage. Now I ain't the best chef, but I know how to whip up a meal, and only buy groceries and spend no more than $60 to feed myself and my child. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that. And I'll give you a couple of tips right now. The first thing is that you want to stock your pantry with staples. And when I say staples, I mean like flour, granulated sugar, let's see, what else will go in there? Oil. You want to make sure you buy your dairy products like your eggs, your milk, that kind of thing. Because if you have what you need, also like baking soda, baking powder, when you have that, you can make so many bread and bread products. It's a lot of bread. You don't realize how many bread products you use or consume in a day when it comes to a meal. So that's your first clue. First thing is to get your staples stocked up. The next thing I would say is to start a garden. Now, I have a garden, but it can get really expensive depending on what you want to do in that garden. But you don't need a whole lot. You just need a small little garden bed, and you can grow the vegetables that you know you use, okay, in your meals. Don't just start be growing stuff just to be growing it, because if you ain't eating it, you're just wasting time and you're wasting money. Let's see. The third thing I would say to start saving money is to cut out processed food. Processed food is expensive, and every time I go shopping, I always get coupons, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with the coupons? It don't even make no sense to even use them, because at the end of the day they're all for processed food, so you're just wasting my time. I don't need none of that. I just throw it away. But those are the 3 tips that I have so far. I will be back not only with more tips, but I will show you how to make food from scratch. This way you're not spending a whole bunch of money, and if money is tight because we got a government shutdown and we got other things that's happening as a domino effect because of this, you'll figure out how to not only feed yourself and your family, and keep some money, what little you have in your pocket during the hard times. All right, see you later.
And honestly, all this advice about make a list and actually make sure that you stick to the list. Don't get distracted. Don't get tempted by nothing that you see. Absolutely, like hearing the advice, it might sound like, oh, that's easy to do. Why shouldn't you? A lot of us actually fall victims. A lot of us do this. Like you would make a list, or maybe not even make a list, and just go there and just be buying all sort of things that you don't need. And maybe sometimes you might even have some things go bad. You have to throw them away, or you just have a bunch of stuff in the house that you know definitely you don't even eat it or care for it. That's not something that is like a need for you. And we are living in a times where your needs are supposed to be like, make sure you stick to needs, because all those wants, those sidekick desires, just keep them like, because honestly, anybody got money for that? No time for none of that. Hey, at the end of the day, we all know that things are very expensive, but we just have to just adapt, and all of us have become professional strategists now. At the end of the day, we are all hoping that things get better. We're all hoping that things become more affordable, or at least we have enough money to be able to afford all these things. But for right now, since this is the case, this is what we are living with, this is what we are working with, we just have to learn to try to adapt and survive this terrible, terrible, terrible time. I hope that you actually found all those videos helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate you. Please make sure you click the like button. It helps the algorithm, and I appreciate that so much. And subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for always supporting this channel. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Bye.